Hello everybody, this is Refresh and I'm here to take a look at BCW's board game sleeves for cards size 70 by 70 millimeters. These sleeves are clear and for an MSRP of $2, you get 50 sleeves, which makes this an average of 4 cents per sleeve. This is definitely along the cheaper end of the card sleeves that you can buy for cards of this size. And BCW also offers bulk sales, so if you buy many more of these packs of sleeves, then you'll get an additional discount per pack, which means that these are some of the least expensive sleeves that you could purchase for cards of this size. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's inside. As you can see, the sleeves are smooth and glossy on both sides. Let's make sure that there are 50 sleeves here. Alright, it looks like there are 55 sleeves in here somehow, and that is, I guess, a plus. It never hurts to have extra sleeves, but it does make me wonder how good the counters are when it comes to making sure that there are at least 50 sleeves in each pack. But if you're going to make a mistake, better to make a mistake and put more sleeves in each pack than not. So value even higher than before. Now let's check the thickness of these sleeves. 50 sleeves comes in at about 1.1 centimeters. So that means that each sleeve is 202 microns or 101 microns each face. Now let's measure the dimensions. These sleeves are 73 millimeters wide by 73 millimeters tall. Now to check how a card fits, I have one Power Grid card here, which is 70 by 70 millimeters. We'll stick it inside. And it looks like the sleeve is a pretty good fit. There is just a little bit of play on the edges and just a little bit of space between the opening of the sleeve and the top edge of the card. That does mean that the card's top edge is a little bit vulnerable to the elements because of how open the top is. That does also mean that the sleeve aesthetically looks a little bit nicer because there's no floppy top edge of the card sleeve. Now it's time for the sleeving test. I have these 43 Power Grid cards here. I'm going to put them into 43 of these sleeves and we'll see how long it takes. Ready, set, go. This took 1 minute and 49 seconds to sleeve these 43 cards, and that is a very fast speed of 2.53 seconds per card sleeved. Part of the reason why the cards sleeve so quickly is that the sleeves are fairly generous in terms of the space that they afford you to put cards into it, so it was very comfortable sleeving the cards and I didn't really have any issues with that whatsoever. Now that the cards are sleeved, let's go ahead and take a look at the sleeves uniformity and consistency outside of the package. The sleeves are pretty uniform on the sides. You can tell that there's a very, very minor deviation in terms of the widths on some of the sleeves, but it is so minor that for most people it might be imperceptible. And the tops of the sleeves are perfectly uniform and even. There's exactly one sleeve that I can feel right here that is just a tiny bit taller than the rest, but for the most part, these are pretty uniform out of the package, and I am pretty impressed with their uniformity and consistency, given the fact that these are some of the least expensive sleeves that you can purchase. Now let's take a look at their general quality out of the package, and for the most part, it looks like the sleeves are in pretty good shape. I did notice a couple stray bits of plastic on some of these sleeves, and so it does mean that there may be some issues with cleanup when the sleeves are getting packaged, and some of the sleeves have a little bit of visible warping on the surface of the sleeve when they are fresh out of the pack, but once you put a card in it, it's really hard to tell that the warping is there. And so for the most part, I don't think that this is going to be an issue for anybody that is using these sleeves. Now it's time for the shuffle test. I'm going to shuffle these sleeved cards 100 times and see how long it takes. Ready, set, go. Alright, that took 1 minute and 48 seconds to shuffle these 100 times. And that is the fastest speed yet, at a significant improvement over its neighbors. So for the most part, I felt that these sleeves really were very fast at shuffling. I think there was a little bit less resistance to these sleeves sliding into one another, and that's probably the main reason why these sleeves shuffled so quickly. They just went right into each other, and I didn't really have too much of a problem with the sleeves that are poking out or needing to tap the sleeves significantly in order to get the half of the deck into the other half of the deck. And I am pleased to shuffle these sleeved cards. Now that I've handled these sleeves quite a bit, let's check for any wear and see how the sleeves held up. Okay, I didn't notice any significant wear on any of the sleeves. I did notice that some of the warping is still visible if you look very hard for the warping in the sleeves, and some of the corners were just a tiny bit bent, but not significantly so. So I wouldn't say that that is a major detraction in any sort of way. None of the edges seem to have split, and consequently I think that these sleeves will hold up just as much as any other average sleeve that you may purchase for cards of the size that is on the thicker side. And I am pretty pleased with the durability of the sleeves in comparison to the other options that you have out there. But it is apparent that the quality straight out of the pack is just a little bit less than the best of the sleeves because of the minor warping, and some of the edges aren't always perfectly identical to the others, even if they are the same in terms of the width. And so if you look at the side here, there are some sleeves that will stand out because of the way that the seams have been put together. Now it's time for the shake test. I have stacked these 43 sleeve cards into a deck. I'm going to shake the table they're on for a couple seconds and see how well the deck holds up. Ready, set, go. All right. The deck held together. Some of it did start sliding off the base a bit, but it does look like it can take quite a bit before the deck will fall down. And so I believe that is a pass for the shake test. Now for the draw test, I'm going to draw 3 cards off the top of this deck and see how well the deck holds together. Ready, set, go. All right, the deck isn't even really shifting in any sort of way except for the card that I'm touching. So that's a really nice touch when it comes to the handling of this deck. It seems to be working just fine, and I will say that that is a pass. My final thoughts about these sleeves is that these are surprisingly good for the price that you're paying. Yes, there is a tiny bit of noticeable warping if you look at it with the right light once you have even after you put the cards in the sleeves, but that does seem to be a very minor effect on the sleeve. And yeah, some of the sleeves do have a little bit of plastic debris in them when you take them out of the pack, and so those are some detractions. You're not getting the highest quality of sleeves that you can get, but these are uniform in terms of their width and their height. They sleeve pretty quickly, and these are some of the best handling sleeves that I have yet to test. And so as far as a value option goes, these are excellent, and I would happily recommend them for anybody who's looking for an inexpensive but decent quality way to sleeve your 70mm by 70mm game cards. If this video was helpful for you, hit the like button. If you like to see more such videos, hit subscribe. If you have any experience with these sleeves in particular, let me know in the comments below. And if you have any experience with sleeves for your cards of this size in general, I do have links in the description box below that you can share your experience as far as consistency and durability of these sleeves and other sleeves of this size in general. The results of those surveys will be available at the Innit Games' resource page. Thanks for watching. This was Refresh, and I will see you next time.